In college, I heard a rumor about a song that, once heard, is supposed to reveal the secrets and inner workings of the universe to you. Several weeks ago, I heard that song. The secrets of the universe were revealed to me. Alright, but they weren't what I was expecting. In my work as a folklorist, I've come across all sorts of strange superstitions and fascinating rituals. There was one tribe, now extinct, that took a vow of silence upon reaching the age of 7. The children of the tribe, with no one to learn speech from, communicated through gibberish until it was their turn to become mute, and so the cycle continued. The tribe never had spoken language. At school, I did a paper on the similarities of tribes who thought it'd be bad luck to have their picture taken, or image captured through painting or art. It was around this time that I had met Jane, and it was she who introduced me to the Song of the Universe. That wasn't its official name, but that's what she called it. It originated in this very area hundreds of years ago, and while many claim that it was lost to the ages, others claim that it still exists. Some claim to have even heard it, and once heard, it will reveal to you the inner secrets of the universe, and you'll never see the world the same again. Whoever these others were that claimed the song still existed, Jane never specified, but the idea intrigued me. The notion that you could hear a piece of music and have it change your worldview wasn't new to me, but a song so magical that it could reveal the inner workings of the universe, that was at least worth checking out. I graduated college without hearing anything else about the song, and I soon forgot about it. But then a few weeks back, I received an email from Jane out of the blue. The subject line said, "I found it. You won't believe this. The song is real and now I'm in possession of the only copy. It actually exists. I listened to it and I don't know how to describe it. It's amazing. Beyond anything I've ever experienced before. Ever. You need to listen to it for yourself. I've attached a copy. You can thank me later." There's an MP3 file attached, so I opened it up right away. 4 minutes and 30 seconds later, it was over. Wait, was that it? I was underwhelmed. My initial impression was that it was any tribal song you might hear by the campfire, or perhaps at a funeral. It was no language I'd ever heard before either. I looked around, waiting for the secrets of the universe to be revealed to me. Would I see the world in colors or musical notes? Perhaps I'd be able to read the code that made up existence or instantly understand any mathematical problem presented to me. That sure would help with my taxes. But nothing changed. My computer screen flickered in the darkness, but it looked the same as ever. I went to the kitchen to grab a drink, ran some water from the tap, and I turned the TV on. But nothing was different. The world was like it always was. I went back to my computer to send Jane a reply. I listened to the song, but nothing is different. Where are these secrets it's supposed to reveal? If you're just pulling my leg, you could have at least tried a little bit harder than this. I'm pretty sure we came up with better songs when we were drunk back in the days. If you come across any real news, let me know. I turned off the computer and I went to bed. What a disappointment. It all started going downhill the next morning. After a rough night full of dreams I couldn't quite remember, I jumped in the shower to get ready for work. It was 5 a.m. and still dark outside. The temperature fell below freezing overnight, so I was not looking forward to going outside. I was getting ready to turn the shower off when something moved from behind the curtain. I stood under the water, frozen in fear. The room was silent but for the sound of cascading water. And then it moved again. I jumped back, pain spreading through my side as I slipped and landed on my hip. I scrambled to my feet and I charged through the curtain, hoping to catch whoever it was on the other side before they knew what was happening. My arms grasped the air, and as I extracted myself from the wet curtain, I realized I was alone. The room was empty. What the fuck? I ran to my bedroom. I ran through the entire house. No one was there. Just me, naked and dripping water all over the floor. I got dressed, skipped breakfast, grabbed my phone, and I headed out the door. There was no message from Jane. The cold winter roads before 6 a.m. are generally quiet. A few crazy joggers out before work, some trucks on their way to or from a late-night delivery, and 1 or 2 people on their way to work. I gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white, on edge at every sound or movement as I made my way into the city. What the hell was that in my bathroom? The more I thought about it, the more it scared me. Whatever it wasn't human-shaped. In the heat of the moment, I didn't notice, but thinking back on it, the shape was intangible, like applying the blur filter to the max and then shooting the object across the room. But it made no sense. Nothing made. The car screeched and I slammed into a pole. My screams muffled by the driver's side airbag as it exploded in my face. I couldn't move. Pain shot up my back and my neck and exploded into millions of tiny lights behind my eyeballs. But that wasn't it. It was the thing right outside my door, peering in at me, watching me, waiting for me to notice it. I squeezed my eyes shut. I could hear it. It was like a low-frequency vibration in my chest, and it made no actual noise, but I could hear it. Like an ostrich with my head in the sand, I squeezed my eyes tighter and I prayed for it to leave. Out of sight, out of mind. If I refused to acknowledge it, it had no power over me. That was how it worked, right? The vibration continued. A car pulled up behind me and I heard people running over to see if I was okay. But I couldn't open my eyes. The thing was still there, watching me like a frozen sentinel, waiting to snatch me away. The door opened and I heard a young woman's voice. "Are you okay?" The vibration stopped and I opened my eyes. "Oh my, you're bleeding." "I'm okay." I tried to answer, but she was already on the phone. "Yes, I need an ambulance." Her voice faded as the world turned to black. I woke up in the back of an ambulance, 2 paramedics standing over me. "You're awake." Where am I?" couldn't finish the sentence. My head pounded and the bright lights above me assaulted my eyes, and I clenched them shut again. "We're on the way to the hospital." "You were in a car accident. Can you tell me anything about what happened?" The creature, the blur, the thing, whatever it was, the memories came flooding back. I tried to sit up, but the paramedic pushed me back down. "Just calm down. You've injured your collarbone and you need to rest." It appeared before me as I was driving down the road. No, not it. They. There were 2 of them, like lights made of sound, vibrations made of fog. Things that by all rights I shouldn't be able to see. And yet I saw them. They passed in front of the car and, in my panic, I swerved and I crashed. And at this, the larger one noticed me, and it drifted to the driver's side window, waiting for me to notice it again. What the hell were they? If this was the secrets of the universe that the song was supposed to reveal, well, it could go ahead and unreveal them. I was quite happy without seeing ominous clouds of vibrations wherever I went. "I thought I saw a cat." I lied. I swerved to avoid it, but I guess I swerved too hard. The paramedic continued asking me questions, and before long, we were at the hospital. The doctor checked me over, but there were no broken bones, no concussions, just a few sprains and cuts, nothing that wouldn't heal with some rest. I was to take the next few days off work and let my doctor know if anything changed. I got a taxi home, I fired up the computer, and I began typing. "Jane, what the fuck? I've been seeing these strange things all day and I don't even know how to describe them. I know you're busy with your frequent trips and all, but you need to contact me as soon as possible. This isn't right. I'm scared." I put some water on to boil and I rubbed my aching temples. My mind was in scrambles. Did this happen to everybody who listened to the song? Who else did Jane send it to? I pulled up my phone and I dialed her number. No answer. God damn it, Jane. I needed to reach her before she sent it to anyone else. We needed to figure this out. If other people heard it, it could be dangerous. And one morning alone, I nearly broken my neck in the shower and then driven into a pole. If this got out into the public, it could be a catastrophe. Mass hysteria. In a few short hours, I was already questioning my sanity, jumping at every shadow and hiding from every sound. I didn't know what the things were, but the buzzing vibrated throughout my chest. I closed my eyes and I covered my ears. No, not again. Just leave me alone. Whatever you are, just go away. I didn't need to turn around. I knew what was right behind me. It made no attempt to communicate. I wasn't even sure if it could, nor what it wanted. I crouched down into a ball, hiding myself from the world. Just go away. Leave me alone. All I did was listen to a song. Why are you doing this to me? The vibration moved up through my throat and towards my ears. It was beside me, licking over me and looking up at me, watching, waiting. The buzzing in my ears grew louder, like the world was being filtered through white noise. Voices. So many voices. None were coherent. All were in agony. I turned around. The room was full of the beings, buzzing, vibrating, shifting in and out of reality. Several noticed that I noticed them, flocking towards me like moths to a flame. I ran out the door, calling Jane over and over as I ran. I didn't know where I was running to, but the adrenaline kept me moving through the pain. As I looked around, I could see more of them. They were everywhere, hovering over people at the park, watching people at the crossing and sitting in people's cars. And this was the secret behind the song. It revealed that which were hidden from plain view, that which man wasn't meant to see. And now I could see it, and it was driving me insane. My phone buzzed in my hand. Jane, so you can see them too, huh? What are they? How do I stop seeing them? What's going on? The questions escaped me like a mad stampede. I was close to tears at finally hearing Jane's voice, the only person who could help me out. I was doing research into that tribe, the one that took a vow of silence upon reaching a certain age. You remember them, right? Did you know they only took that vow of silence recently? What are you saying? I don't understand. They discovered a way to open one's eye to the world, but when they did, they didn't like what they saw, so they agreed to never use their voices again, never again unleash that which they could not unsee. My mind raced. The song came from them? Yep, about 50 or 60 years back, a certain man found that tribe, hidden deep in the mountains. He heard rumor of the devastation that tore through them a generation earlier. A rumor of a song. He convinced the people with his fancy technology from the outside world, and though many refused to take part, many more were tempted by the things he offered. They broke their vow and they sang once more. He recorded that song before disappearing himself a few months later. My ears and chest vibrated, and I picked up the pace, trying not to look around but also doing my best not to walk into a tree or a lake. I don't know, you're not making any sense, Jane. That man was my grandfather. I found the recording amongst his old files and I didn't have anything to play the tape on, but I did manage to transfer it to the computer. I had no idea it was real. You see them too, right? There are so many things hidden from us. It's not just the blurs. The blurs are just a start. Just a start? What do you mean? What have you seen, Jane? She laughed, and it shook me to my core. You can thank me later. I thought I should share with you first, considering our history. Every day I see more and more. Things I could have never dreamed of. Now I really know what lurks in the darkness and what watches you as you sleep. The things waiting for the moment to hitch a ride, to take over. The trap things. The free things. There's so many and nobody knows about them. Until now. Sickness rose in my throat. No, she couldn't mean. Jane, what are you planning to do? She laughed and I stopped. A blur, as she called it, was hovering over a young boy. He was crying, pulling at his mother's skirt. She patted his head and continued talking on her phone, not looking at him. The blur hovered, swarming around the boy and then disappeared. The boy stopped crying. He turned, looking at me. He was several meters ahead, but he turned and looked right at me, right in the eyes, and then he went back to holding his mother's hand and he walked away in silence. The air around him vibrated. It darkened. The mother continued talking, not a care in the world. It's time for the world to wake up. Wouldn't you agree? No. No, I did not agree in the slightest. Jane, you can't. The phone went silent. The buzzing was so intense I could barely think. They were all around me. The more people there were, the more blurs there were, and they were trying to be noticed. And when they realized I could see them, they began heading for me. I ran, ignoring the pain in my head and shoulder. Fear is a wonderful motivator, and I was never more motivated in my life. The blurs were on the bus, in the water, and on the road. They were sniffing people out and following them around, clinging like a wet winter coat, hoping to be noticed. If people saw them, if people knew what was out there. The blurs still haunt me and I can't get rid of them. They're wearing me down, both physically and mentally. I'm a shell of my former self. I've tried everything, but there's no way to stop seeing them. The only cure is prevention. If you receive an unknown file from one of your friends that comes in at exactly 4 minutes and 13 seconds, check for the source. Find out where it came from. Think twice before listening to it. You might not like what it reveals,